Today is July 27th, 2026. We are at the TAF Bethany Community Learning Space in White Center, Washington. I'm your host and moderator, Jonathan Fisher, and I have with me my dear friend, Cesar Vergara. ¿Cómo estás, amigo?
Muy bien,
Yeah.
gracias, muy bien.
¿Tú estás feliz?
Estoy muy feliz.
We are all very happy to be here. We've spent time together and we've talked about your career. I want to just sort of take a few minutes and sort of go back over it. You are from Mexico City.
Yes, I am.
And in your first time on a train, you gave the engineer 20 pesos so that you could ride in the cab.
Yeah, because I thought the car stunk.
Yes.
So I said, I don't want to ride this ugly train. So I went to the engineer with my buddies.
Was this from Mexico City
It was a train that used to go from a town called Silao
Okay.
to a bigger city called Guanajuato, which is an amazing old colonial city.
Oh my.
And they used to have a train there that was called a mixto. Which is
freight
half
and-
freight and
yes,
half passenger.
mixto. Yes, sí.
And that was a mixto.
Yes.
And
Now, was this a steam-powered train? Or was it diesels or electrics? You had all of those in Mexico.
I think this must have been steam.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so we went and we asked him, and he was very happy to get his 80 pesos. And we went on it, and then I told him, the one thing I didn't tell you is that we get to blow the horn as much as we want. He probably got fired. So
Yeah.
and on the way back from Guanajuato to Silao,
Yes.
we also rode it.
You
Now-
rode it both ways.
Yeah,
And as
and
I recall,
see-
didn't you tell him the 20 pesos was a round trip?
I didn't say anything then.
Oh,
I
of
just
course.
simply, but Silao, what used to be a town that was nothing. They make, they grow potatoes and stuff, but now it's a very important city because they put a massive airport there, which is
they
called
did?
Central Mexico Airport.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so now it's no longer an important place.
Now it is importante.
And now it is important.
Yes, okay. Now, is that where your love of railroading began, or where did it begin?
No, it was not at all. I thought the trains were pretty gross.
Oh, you did? So you
Yes,
didn't-
right there and then they
smelled bad
and
and
it wasn't great.
No.
I thought, what is this,
Mhm.
And I never had this big train
Fascination,
mania when
yeah.
I was young. It
Okay,
was not
you
at
didn't.
all. And it was much later in life. It was pretty late. I must have been, I want to say 23.
Well, that's pretty late,
Yeah, I went to
especially at our age now.
Yeah, I went to for an interview
Yes.
in a firm in Stockholm.
In
Sweden.
Stockholm. I was going to
Yeah,
ask you
because-
how you ended up in Sweden. Keep
Well, I
going.
was there forever, but I went after I graduated. I went for several interviews. I had another different job, and I went to this interview, and they got some pictures of trains in the wall.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to design computers those days. What the hell are those things? I remember thinking, wow, plastic boxes, how horrible. And I saw those trains, and it was right then and there I decided I'm going to be a train designer.
Now, you told me that an industrial designer is either a frustrated engineer or a frustrated architect,
Well,
right? Or the merger of two frustrating sciences.
It is, many of the industrial designers are just people that could have wanted to be an engineer, but they were not good enough at math, so they didn't get accepted. Or, the other way around, they're very artistic, and then
Yes,
but it is
yes.
a combination. If you don't understand engineering, you cannot be a good industrial designer.
But you also have to understand art too, right?
Well, you do. You have to understand
because
art.
you created these beautiful, moving masterpieces.
You have to understand art, but you have to understand how it's made. Because
Okay.
there is limitations, it's 16 feet tall by 11 feet wide by 80 feet long.
Right.
And it has a lot of limitations, a lot of regulations.
Constraints
So
and
in
yes,
order to
regulations,
do
too.
something that is pretty with all those regulations, that's what can make you a good train designer. If you still can create something beautiful, even with all those things trying to
yes,
keep
yeah,
you
the
back.
constraints,
Yeah.
trying to hold you back.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Mexico. You went to school in Sweden.
I went to school in Washington, D.C. to high school.
Through high school. That's right. Now, what was your father doing?
My father was an architect with the World Bank.
Yes, I was trying to remember that when we talked. And
Specialized in design and building of schools.
what a noble profession,
That's
right?
what he did his whole life,
Building schools.
building schools
So to benefit people through
all
education.
over the world. Schools mostly for the poor.
Mostly for the
Yeah.
World Bank, you would be. So
Well,
this
but no,
would-
they did some he worked with some universities doing some things, but it was mostly for people that were, you know.
So he was like so when you went into design, it was your father was like an example for you a little bit,
Well,
wasn't he?
we were a large family. We
Ah.
had 4 brothers, 4 sisters, but I didn't really like my school very much when I was young.
Oh.
In Mexico City.
Yeah, who liked school when they were
Well,
young?
some
I don't
people
know.
do, and then
Yeah, I
meeting
think
buddies
they're
in the
weird.
afternoon and stuff. So what I would do is, in Mexico, you have dinner at 3 in the afternoon.
Yes.
2:33,
Yes.
and then you rest for a minute,
Hmm.
and then you work until 10 at night.
Right, because it is so hot during the middle
Well,
of
that's
the
kind of like the way you do it.
Yeah, okay.
And what I would do is, a huge amount of the time in my life growing up, from age probably 8 to 14, I went with my father in the afternoons to his office.
Oh, okay.
I got to see the constructions that he was working on. He was working as the chief architect of the Mexico City subway.
Right.
So I got to see all those things, and I was fascinated by that. I didn't want to design trains or this or the other.
Were you the oldest in the family?
No, there was older sisters and an older brother.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you're
No.
kind of 8.
But
you're
I
kind
was
of middle
the
of
one
the pack.
that was kind of like most connected in that way with my father.
Ah, okay.
We like talking together, you know. He was
Yes,
like a
yes.
walking Google. So I would ask him anything, and I know that if he didn't know it, he would look it up and tell me the next day.
Oh, that's nice.
I kind of know that.
So he was an inspiration to you.
Oh, indeed. Absolutely. man.
Absolutely. He would have had to have been. Yeah.
Oh, no. He was
Oh,
very
my
much so.
gosh, yeah.
Very nice man and excellent.
At what he did and an example to the community.
Yeah. He lived to be 102
Oh, my.
with all his marbles.
Oh, yeah. I have an uncle that's 101 right now.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, and he's got all his marbles, at
Well,
least as
there
many
you
as he
go.
started with. So that's good. So then from Washington, D.C., you went to Sweden for your education, and I still am trying to figure out how you made that jump across the Atlantic.
I wanted to go to, believe it or not, I applied and I got accepted to Rochester Institute of Technology.
In Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
And that was, that's a very good school.
Yeah, and that's an industrial design school.
Industrial design school.
So
indeed.
I thought
Yes,
I would
that's
go
right.
there, and there was this very strange rule in the World Bank,
Yeah.
which is kind of a dumb rule.
Wh-
They don't want the kids to stay in the United States, which is kind of dumb because these are educated kids that are going to contribute taxes and good person in society. But yet they encourage you to leave. And the way they do it is if you are going to study in another country outside of the United States, they help pay for the tuition.
Oh, well, that's kind of important.
So I out of the most bizarre blue, my father, I don't know why the heck, my father said, I'm just studying Sweden or somewhere interesting. We had no relation to Sweden of any kind. I said,
Yeah, I was going to say.
So the Swedish embassy those days was in the Watergate complex. So I went down there,
Yeah, right?
pretty young, 17 or 18-year-old, and I went to the desk, and I asked, I want to find out about design schools in Sweden because I want to go study there. And I remember they told me, there is absolutely no chance whatsoever that you are going to. I said, but can you still give me some of the information? Sure. And they gave it to me.
Not the first time someone told you you couldn't do it and you did.
Yeah, and so I got that, and then I went through all the gyrations of months of sending samples and this and that, and one day I got a letter that I had been accepted in the School of Industrial Arts, Industrial Design in Stockholm, Sweden.
In Stockholm, Sweden. For a nice kid from suburban Mexico, what kind of transition would it be for you to go to Sweden?
I went to the embassy again, and I still remember the lady that said, "Oh, it's you again." I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, it's me again.
I said, "I have a letter because I'm gonna need a visa and I'm gonna need help from you guys."
Yeah.
And I gave my letter to the lady.
And she was like,
She says, "I want you to meet the ambassador."
oh my, oh my.
So I went and I met the ambassador.
That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
And he said, "So you're gonna go there?" Well, yeah. Oh my God, that's pretty amazing. You know how many kids try? No, I don't. I said.
I'm just me. Yeah.
He says it's one of the most difficult schools to get into in Sweden.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did you do there? How did you like it? How did you like Sweden?
Well, at first I didn't.
Because it's cold and rainy and...
No, it wasn't cold and rainy when I got there.
Oh, of course.
But I was pretty lonely, and I didn't speak Swedish.
Well, that is, you can't meet girls if you can't speak Swedish.
So yeah, and then I did my thing, you know. I was very young. The kids that went to that school were much older than me.
Oh, were they?
They were all 25, 30-ish. They were craftsmen, plumbers, carpenters, people that have had a trade.
Oh.
And that's the people they accept there to become designers.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a very, very careful process. Very intelligent. I don't know how it is today, but in there, it used to be, they used to only accept people that they think would contribute something to Sweden in the future.
So they thought you were going to contribute something to Sweden?
They thought that because they accepted me because they had this, again, I've been always hitting the mark in these unusual circumstances. They needed someone that had multicultural background that year so that he would be a good influence to the other students, Mexican and American, and they accepted me.
And you were in college for a few years, and then you graduated from college, and then as an industrial designer, what did you do for work?
Well, I first got a job. I'm very proud. I remember I graduated on a Friday, and on Monday I was in my first job.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of like me.
I worked in a company, that was a beautiful company called Gustavsberg, and it was a good hour and a half ride in the bus to go there. I remember the other kids, the Swedish kids said, "I would never ask for a job there. That's too far away." And I remember thinking, wow, even though these kids are not rich or anything, they're spoiled. So how can you think like that?
Yeah, no, I get that. You were hungry. You wanted to work.
I had the American and the Mexican psyche. I wanted to succeed.
Yes.
And I said, this is an amazing company. I'm going to work there. So I worked there for a couple of years.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I designed kitchen tops and all kinds of things. But then I missed my family very much.
Oh, yes.
And so I kind of
I'd like to come back to...
I went back to Bethesda, Maryland. Bizarre move. And then I was very sorry I did because, of course, I didn't have a job anymore.
Right.
And so that's when I went back.
But your family was there, and so then you...
My family, my father and my mother were there, and I went back to Sweden. I did have a girlfriend at that point that made life easier.
It does,
there.
yeah.
And I was able to find this job in this company that had the pictures of trains.
Right.
I went there, and it were two partners.
Right.
And one guy that used to work there as an employee, and that was it. A very small, beautiful office in a very fine part of town. And I remember them telling me, there's no chance you can get a job here. I don't know why even you're coming here. And I said, well, I have a contract. I have a contract with this porcelain factory.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I had it because when I left, they still wanted me back, and they gave me a little contract to do some work.
So a little bit of side work, so you had
Well, it wasn't side
a few
work.
pesos coming in.
The tax structure in Sweden that it was very strange. They told me, you can't do this work because that's a way of them trying to avoid paying taxes for you. You have to work for another company and do it through them. Well, that's when I went and I got interviews in design firms, which there were not that many. And I got that interview in this company with the pictures of trains. And they accepted me, and they told me, you get 1 month probation here, and then we'll tell you if you're staying. After 15 days, they said, you stay.
So they liked you.
They liked me very much. I worked like a dog, which is the way that...
This is how we're brought up.
Well,
You have to work hard.
Americans and Mexicans are the hardest working people in the world.
Absolutely.
End of
Absolutely.
story right there.
Absolutely.
And so I just did that. Swedes are absolutely outstanding, excellent, but they don't work that hard.
No, they don't. No, it's a different.
They work a little less.
Yeah. Well, necesito, right? You need to work.
You just go for it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I got the job, and I was there. I was in that office for, I guess, 6 years almost.
okay.
And I designed little
Still doing
trains.
countertops?
No.
What
I did-
what are you doing?
No. They designed trains. So
Oh.
I started working on trains.
What
with them.
trains were you working on?
I worked on the commuter rail for Gothenburg, Sweden. I designed it.
Really?
Yeah. There was this project that they didn't know what to do with it. And they said, we could give you a try and you can see what you can come up with this. I came up with some sketches, and they said, okay. And then, lo and behold, I kept the project. It was my project.
Wow.
The Gothenburg commuter
How
trains.
old were you?
Oh, I was 25 maybe at the
Oh
most.
my.
Yeah, no, I was very young.
Oh, my.
I was a real taskmaster. I was unstoppable.
Mm.
I
That
slept-
hasn't changed, by the way, in case you didn't
I
know.
almost didn't sleep. I worked like a dog. So I just moved forward. And when you choose a very weird as heck career, like designing trains,
Yes, right.
you better be ready for some tough times. I was.
And you were ready. You were up to the challenge.
I said, I'm just going to do this.
Have you gone back and rode your trains in Gothenburg, Sweden?
I did. They don't have that train anymore.
No.
But I have ridden it, and I have ridden many of my trains, yes.
Yes.
And then, many of the trains that I have designed recently, they still run, and I get very happy when I see them, like the M8 and all the Metro Norths. I've done a lot of their trains, and I love seeing them.
What was the name of this firm? I don't know that you told me.
It was called Developmental Design, but it was in Swedish, Utvecklingsdesign. Design. It no longer exists.
Your Swedish is pretty good, isn't it?
It's total fluent.
So American English, Mexican, Spanish, of course, Swedish.
And then I speak a pretty good German.
Do you?
Yeah, and I understand French very well, and Italian, and a lot of the Scandinavian languages are very similar. So Danish and Norwegian, sure.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty similar,
No,
wouldn't it?
Finnish is not.
No, Finnish would be different.
But I come from a linguistic family. It's not really.
Your father was at the World Bank, so he would have needed to be lingual in many languages.
I just like saying words in different languages, and I just get a kick out of it.
Okay.
So that was not a really sacrifice for me to learn other languages.
In fact, it was fun because you
I
enjoyed the
loved it.
diversity of it. Yeah.
I like it.
So then you worked for this design firm in Sweden, and then so you went to college in Sweden. You went back to Maryland, but then you got a contract to go back and work in Sweden again to do the Gothenburg.
Well,
And
I
then
got a
what
contract.
happened from
Yes,
there?
I got a contract to do some sanitary porcelain. That's how I got my foot in the door.
Sanitary porcelain.
That's
Now
what they
wait a
used-
minute. Now don't we call
you-
that a toilet bowl in English?
Well, that as well as a basin.
Yes,
And
yes.
all of those.
Yes, yes.
And I had this contract for designing a hotel basin. That was
Oh.
what the assignment was. And so that sounded interesting to them. It was, those days, it was 50,000 crowns, which sounded like a fortune to me. It's not. But they said, okay, you can come here, and this contract will now belong to this company, not to you. And you,
Oh.
yeah, and you cannot show any of this work without one of us partners.
So it was.
It was very restrictive.
You brought him a dowry
I
essentially.
did.
Yeah.
I bought my way.
You brought it. You know.
I
you
bought my way into
you
the
bought
company.
your way into
and-
the company.
and-
Yeah,
and- but then
absolutely.
they liked me very much, and I started
Of course
working
they
in
would.
older projects.
Of course they would.
So
So then, when did you migrate back from Sweden to the United States?
it was like 10 years after I arrived in Sweden, or almost 11. I got sick and tired of Sweden.
Ah, they don't work hard enough.
Well, not that. I remember I got a raise once, and my paycheck was smaller because I went to the next tax bracket. I said, okay, I'm leaving. Yeah, I still had the American and Mexican way of thinking that it's dumb, actually. It's stupid, but I think that success is also measured with how much money you make. And I never
yeah.
felt like I was.
It-
The Swedes
it is-
are very, very logical and very good how they run their life. You go to school, you get a little job or a big job, you don't get paid huge monies, and you have an apartment which you probably will age in,
Oh,
and you have 6 weeks paid vacation
yeah.
and all kinds of benefits, and you don't really want more. That
but
is
that-
kind of like what you want.
But being the people that we are,
No,
we
no,
need
no,
more
to
than
me-
that.
yeah,
We
it's-
need more than that.
Yeah, and so that in itself made me say, okay, this is very interesting, and I really like it, and I've succeeded here, but I don't want to stay here.
Because there's not enough room for growth and
I
development.
said I want to stay here, and then those days, there was we had a different president here, and the United States was a very famous country of success.
Yes, right.
And so I said, I want to go back to, I want to go to New York and get a job.
So when
just
did you
like-
when did you move to New York?
87 or
Okay.
I went and I arrived on a Friday. On Monday, I had a job. I had no permit to work. I had nothing. I just went and interviewed in a firm. They gave me a job.
How long did you stay there?
In this one, I stayed about 6 months.
Okay.
But, and I wasn't really allowed to work, but I did it anyway. I had a social security number, and with that, I was able to finagle my way.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Back then you could, yeah.
And then I stayed, say about, I don't know how long it was, but a few years. But then I said to myself, I'm sick of it all. I want to go back to Mexico.
Oh, so then you went back to Mexico?
Where people have a good time.
Yeah.
So off I go to Mexico.
Okay.
No job.
Well, that is a problem with Mexico.
And that I still remember, I asked my father,
How do people make a living here?
well, no, I said, listen, can you help me get a job in the National Railways of Mexico? He says, I don't really know if I can, but let me call someone.
Okay.
And he called somebody. The next day, I had an interview with the president of the National Railways of Mexico.
I guess he did have some connections.
Yeah. So I went to see him, and I still remember the interview. I showed him a little bit of my portfolio. Okay, that's good. He called some guy and said, hey, get over here. This guy's hired. Put him in a nice office.
Put him in a nice office,
Yeah,
no less.
that was it.
So then you were working for the
National Railways of Mexico for about, I was working there for about 2.5, 3 years until it was going out of business.
Oh.
Yeah, the company was a dying company, so it was a very unusual experience to be there in the headquarters.
Because the thing was, you could kind of see it spiraling. And,
Yeah, it was.
And,
And
yeah.
now they are reviving the rail like crazy there.
Right.
But
right.
at that point,
But at that
was
point,
that.
it was going down.
Yeah.
So then you had to jump ship. Where did you jump?
At that point, I said, why don't I give it a shot, and I had already met the person who's my wife now, 18.
Oh, okay.
So I had a way of coming to work here. So I came here absolutely no
So your wife
prospects.
is American?
My wife is American.
Oh, I
yes.
didn't know. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And we looked at the possibilities, and it was like 1 in a million that this would happen. It was an old magazine she found in the trash can. So it was a little ad that says, "Manager car design for Amtrak. Do you wish to design trains?" I went, and I remember still going for that interview and saying,
When was this?
it was 89.
Okay, in New York City? Or?
No, it was in Philadelphia. the
Oh,
interview.
Philadelphia. Oh,
Yeah,
sure, of course. Yeah.
They paid me my ticket to go there.
Okay.
And I still remember, don't go for the interview. Go get the job. You are going to go there and you're going to get this job. You're not going to interview. I talked to myself. I gave myself
So
a
we're
cocoa
very
wash.
similar. Yeah.
I said, just go get it.
Right. Yeah,
So
I'm
I
not
went-
here to interview. I'm here to get a job. That's
Yeah.
a big difference in
So
your...
I went
in-
there, and they offered me the job the same evening. I got it. Let's go. I was there for 10 years.
And what did you do while you were there?
Oh my God, I designed trains galore.
Like what?
Well, the last one I designed was that beast.
Yes.
But I designed superliners, viewliners. They were not from scratch. They were already started, those projects. I did, to try to make the list of projects that I worked in Amtrak is
It's a long list. We don't need to get into all that
it's
right
impossible, but
now. But you did the Genesis locomotives.
I did the locomotive, which I was not invited to do. I was sitting in an office, and there was important people from Amtrak talking to EMD and GE, which were the two last bidders.
Right.
And I could hear the conversations
Oh, what was it?
about the locomotive that they were going to commission
Okay.
for the future of Amtrak.
Okay.
And I realized in their conversations there was no mention of the aesthetics of it. What is it going to look like?
We've talked about ugly looking.
Yeah,
Craig and I
said,
just talked about
what
ugly
the
trains, and
heck
they don't
is it
make a
gonna
good
look-
impact.
What's it going to look like?
Yeah. Okay.
And I remember after one of those meetings, there still was a big deals from Amtrak. I was not really on their level, but I went in there and said, guys, I want to design that locomotive for you because I think it's not going to look very nice. What are you talking about? Take out from that folder, that picture they just showed you from General Electric. And they did. I said, that thing looks like it already crashed. It's the most awful looking object I've ever seen. How can you dare? This is going to be 25 years of the next locomotive for America's railroad? You got to be kidding me.
And you just walked right in there and
I
told
did,
these
and
guys
I
that.
stole the project. I said,
Oh my gosh.
you got to let me do it. You got to let me do it because I know what I'm doing. I have done these things, and I know I can make it look fabulous. So they, against all odds, allowed me.
Wow.
And then I started going to Erie, Pennsylvania, where it was built.
Yes.
And I still remember, with a little pain in my heart, there was a guy, I forget his name. He was the designer for General Electric. And he had done that locomotive that I described as having already crashed.
Oh.
Yeah. And I said, so he said, so what do you think of it? I said, we're going to change it pretty dramatically. We are? Yeah. It ain't going to look like that.
How did he take it?
Oh, he was heartbroken. I don't think the guy ever recovered. I said,
Oh.
we're going to change it.
Well, that's just where you're at.
And I made a very nautical appearance, a very, people insulted it when it first came up. They said, it doesn't look like a locomotive. It looks like a box the locomotive came in. And I used to say, well, that's a pretty darn looking, nice
It's a good-looking box. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
so
right.
whatever, say what you want. But, I got hooked on this project, and I absolutely, doggedly wanted to do it. and I did it. And that's when I also became, there was like a metamorphosis. I said, I want to design 5 or 6 locomotives before I'm done.
Because then this really had it got
what
you in the Corazon.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I designed so many passenger locomotives.
So then let's talk. So then from there it went to Talgo.
No, Talgo was much later.
Talgo was much later. Well, we're going to start moving to wrap up. So let's talk about how you transitioned into the Talgo
Well,
program
the Talgo
and
project,
what happened from there.
it was very, very unusual.
Well, yeah.
One of the bosses, this is very unusual. The gentleman, Jim Michael, a very close friend, was one of the people. I had so many bosses. I didn't know who I reported to. So it was like, who the hell do I ask permission for anything? There was this guy from England, nice man, and he summoned me, and he said, listen, you're going to go to Seattle. They are doing a test of a locomotive with an F-40 pulling this Spanish train. Really?
Really?
Yeah. I said, it's called the Talgo. And the cars are very small, but the locomotive is really fat and big. And they showed me a picture. I said, oh my God, that is the most awful combination I've ever seen. I said, it looks like a Saint Bernard followed by Chihuahuas. I said, you can't have that. And he said, well, I give you your assignment. You're supposed to go to the Northwest and come up with a paint scheme that erases the height difference.
Okay.
Of course, I knew that was impossible.
Right.
But I said, of course, I'll go. I've never been to Seattle. Off I went, and I looked at...
That hasn't ever stopped you before.
I went, and I looked at it, and I said, this is the most horrendous thing I've ever seen.
Oh, my.
And immediately I thought, the only way you can fix this is by gapping the height difference.
And that's where the fins came in.
That's where the fins came in, and I had to come up quick with some kind of story to back it up. And I said, I'm not the first to do something like this. All steam locomotives used to have a tender, and the tender used to be a little bit taller, and it used to be
sloped down.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
And that's all I'm doing here, trying to make it belong. And then the locomotive will look like it belongs to the train, and I married them with a paint scheme that is smart, as that goes.
Yes.
And I said, that can work. Of course, the blowback was brutal when I said I wanted to
Well, but people were going, fins?
No. They said,
this is not. This is like a Cadillac in 1960.
You're kidding me. And the size of those things. I never called the Guinness Book of Records, but I bet you if I had, they would have measured them. That's the largest land-based fins ever made.
Yeah, bigger than a Cadillac 1960.
No, but it's the largest fins ever made for a land-based vehicle. I can tell you. But I should have.
So it is your crowning. You would put that as your crowning achievement.
But that was just something that I needed to do in order to make the train look logical. But if you look at the locomotive and look at the car, it looks like a really long locomotive.
Well, the paint there's that arc.
It marries
the two of them together.
And that's what the whole point was. And it couldn't be done without the fins, which when it's no locomotive, they look extraordinarily different. And it's like, you wonder, what is that? I put the marker lights there really high.
Yes, indeed.
I had to come up with a bunch of stuff just to say, there's no such thing as brake lights in a train, as you know.
Yes, indeed.
But I said, well, it's important. I said, it's important that the marker lights be as high as possible. I think, what the heck? I just say a bunch of stuff and
it sells.
See if it would stick, and it did.
It did.
I put them high, and that's what it looks like, and it became one of the most unusual. Once we started the project, and I understood that I was going to do the whole interior outright. I said, okay, this is going to be the last streamliner in America. That's what I called it in my mind. That's
Okay.
the last streamliner. Inspired from 0 to 100. The whole thing.
And it's beautiful.
And
it's,
that
it's
was
a
what
legacy.
it was. That was what my intention was, to make the last streamliner.
So I've got one more question before we wrap up. Where were you on September 11th?
Unfortunately, I was across the water, and I was one of the first people to come down there.
What happened? What do you
I
what do you remember from that
the,
day?
The first airplane, I didn't see it. The second one, I saw it hit.
Oh my!
Yeah, then they immediately started. Everyone started like going crazy, and then they said, "There's going to be one train full of law enforcement people and fire people. No more trains going to New York." I got on that one, and went down with them, and then I never left for the next couple of months. I was down there constantly. And smelling all that.
And what happened to you physically as a result
I got
of that?
very sick. I got cancer.
Oh, you do? You did?
I got cancer 10 years ago. They diagnosed me. I'm absolute miracle that I didn't die.
Yes, I know.
Because they took a long time for them to determine. They thought I had Lou Gehrig's disease, so they didn't understand. I had a hand that is atrophied.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it is because the cancer lodged in the most unusual way in the plexus, in the lining of the veins.
Oh my word!
I'm one of these medical oddities times 100.
You
So I survived that, but unfortunately, all the chemotherapy on earth didn't save me.
What did save you?
They told me, "There's nothing more we can do for you," because it came back.
Oh dear.
But they told me there is this experimental treatment called CAR-T,
Okay.
which you may qualify for in Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Right.
I
New
know
York.
the guy, and they sent me there, and I got this treatment, which is they take out your blood, a little bag this big, which cost like $2 million.
Yes. Right.
And then I still remember the nurses in MSK all put their hands on top of the box. And they said, "This is new life." I said, "Are these religious freaks or what is going on?" No, that's what they thought. Because they knew this guy might live. Yeah.
I'm glad that you did.
So they sent it. It was about a month, and it came back, and it was they put it back in you, and it makes this little the cells. There's millions of cells that are trained to kill cancer cells, and they go around your body and they kill them. And it worked with me like a cinch.
One more amazing incident in an amazing lifetime.
So
Here you are.
here I am, and I'm still very well. I still have to go for treatments here and there, and I'm kind of beat up. I need a new kidney because it was ruined by the chemo.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And so that's going to be a massive thing. My wife already went through all the tests. She's going to give up a kidney so I can get one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's been a pickle. We'll see how it goes.
Well, so far it's gone pretty well for
Well,
you.
we'll see. My wife and I have this thing we call it the vines. There's vines hanging in the jungle, and we always get one. Go to the next.
Oh, that is so good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cesar. We're out of time for today.
Well-
I always enjoy our time together so much, sir. Thank you.
It was an excellent thing to talk with you, and thank you for your interest in my career and my
Everything about you.
travails.
Everything about
What can
you.
I say? I don't deserve all this attention.
You know,
I'll tell you that.
I'll be the one to decide that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Bye now.
Bye now.